Today, I'm going to be discussing the top Apple product that you shouldn't buy. While Apple has a truly unrivaled record of revolutionizing the tech industry, going back to the OG iPod, to the groundbreaking Apple Vision Pro, not every product they've released has been a smash hit, and some certainly aren't worth their exuberant cost. So, stay tuned for today's video to find out what Apple product you need to avoid, so you don't end up pouring your money down the drain.
I'm only burning my half. All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class.
Apple product. The number one Apple product that you should avoid buying in 2023 is the Apple M2 iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is one of Apple's three iPad products, with the other two being the iPad Air and traditional iPad. The iPad Pro is the most premium option of the three, designed for professionals and creatives, boasting powerful processors, high-resolution Liquid Retina displays, and support for various accessories. The M2 specifically is Apple's newest iPad Pro release, being released October 2022. The number one reason that I am not recommending you buy the M2 iPad Pro is due to its price point. At a price point of nearly $1,800 for the 12.9-inch 1TB SSD model, I can't possibly justify purchasing the M2 iPad Pro over its predecessor, the M1 iPad Pro. The M1 iPad Pro was released in May 2021 and performs nearly identical for all tasks that your average user will require. With a price point of approximately $660 for the 12.9-inch 1TB SSD model on the Amazon Renewed store, you can obtain nearly the same performance iPad for one-third of the price by merely sticking with the M1. The main selling point of the M2 iPad Pro is the M2 chip itself. Built on TSMC's 4nm process, the M2 chip does provide some marginal improvement to performance, boasting both a 15% higher CPU than the M1 and 35% more powerful GPU. But compared to the M1 chip, the difference probably won't even be noticeable unless you're a really heavy user. Due to the fact that the iPadOS barely has any features or apps that push its limits, the vast majority of users will not even notice a performance difference. In real-world scenarios, users have reported a seamless experience with the M1 iPad Pro, even when tackling resource-intensive tasks such as video editing, 3D rendering, and gaming. Thus, the new M2 iPad Pro is so powerful that it feels like an overkill, even for professionals who like to nitpick over the slightest latency. So, unless you are thinking of running a media empire,
I'm in the empire business.
The M2 iPad Pro can easily be your daily driver or the go-to computer for a weekend getaway. The display for the M2 iPad Pro remains pretty much the same as the last gen. The 11-inch iPad Pro features the same LED-lit 600-nits bright Liquid Retina display with adaptive 120Hz ProMotion, True Tone, and P3 wide colors. The screen on the 12.9-inch model has also remained unchanged. The screen has 10,000 mini LEDs lighting up from the back. These mini LEDs are grouped into 2,500 plus local dimming zones for better contrast and clarity on dynamic content. It also has Apple's proprietary display technologies like 120Hz adaptive ProMotion, True Tone, and P3 wide colors, which make the content more vibrant and natural looking. Once again, when you compare to the M1, there is relatively imperceptible difference, noticeable only to the most selective of user. For wireless connectivity, the iPad Pro has received a Wi-Fi upgrade. The device features the Wi-Fi 6E standard, which is almost 2 times faster than the previous gen for cellular variants. iPad Pro M2 also supports 5G connectivity support. However, this Wi-Fi upgrade seems largely like a gimmick right now, as it requires you to buy separate router just to use, generally has very poor range, and oftentimes just ends up kicking you down to 5 GHz anyway. Apple's ecosystem can be quite costly, and the M2 iPad Pro is no exception. The accessories like the Apple Pencil and Magic Keyboard are sold separately, and their prices can quickly add up, making the overall cost of ownership skyrocket. The second generation Apple Pencil can cost upwards of $129, while the Magic Keyboard for the M2 iPad Pro cost upwards of $349, bringing your total cost of the M2 iPad Pro to over $2,000. If you're on a budget, this can be a significant drawback to consider. The Pencil Hover feature was yet another marketing tactic Apple heavily pushed for the M2 iPad Pro. This feature allows the Apple Pencil to be detected up to 12 mm above the display, allowing users to see a preview of their mark before they make it. In theory, this would allow users to sketch and illustrate with even greater precision, making the Apple Pencil experience effortless. However, in practice, the reality is that this feature was already capable of being used on the M1 iPad Pro, and the only reason it is not is that it was blocked by a software lock from Apple to work only on the M2. All of which to say, this just further proves the point that the M2 iPad Pro is not at all worth the exuberant cost increase compared to the M1. The biggest use case for iPad Pro has always been illustration and editing, and Apple tailored the device specifically for that. Apple often markets the iPad Pro as a laptop replacement, but in reality, it might not fulfill all the needs of a traditional laptop. While it excels at media consumption, note-taking, and creative tasks, it may fall short for heavy multitasking or software that is only available on laptops or desktops. If you require a full-fledged computer, the M2 iPad Pro is not the choice for you. In this regard, the M1 iPad Pro shares the same limitations. If you're looking for a laptop replacement, you might consider the MacBook lineup instead, which offers more versatility and software compatibility. Lastly, the final point to consider is the release of the M3 iPad Pro. While we only have rumors and leaks to go off of now, it is estimated that the M3 will be released sometime in spring 2024. The M3 was leaked to have options of both the traditional 11-inch display and much larger 14.1-inch display available as well. It is also rumored that the entire iPad line will be moved to OLED by 2024, potentially utilizing a hybrid OLED technology, further pushing past the display capabilities of both the M1 and M2. And lastly, the new iPad Pro is expected to utilize Apple's newest M3 chip, built on the TSMC 3nm node. This would be expected to have a further performance and graphical increase far beyond what the M2 is capable of. So, if you absolutely desire top-of-the-line hardware in your iPad, you might just be better off waiting for the M3. And that concludes our comprehensive look at the number 1 Apple product you should avoid. The Apple M2 iPad Pro does not provide a significant advantage over the M1 iPad Pro, as most of its features are either overkill or imperceptible improvements at nearly triple the price point of the M1. We hope this video has been a valuable resource in helping you to save your money and make the most informed decision on your tech purchase. Links with the best prices for each iPad discussed, along with their accessories, can be found in the description below. If you're considering purchasing one of these laptops, please consider using one of the affiliate links below, as it helps me out a ton. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech reviews and helpful content. Also, let us know in the comments which iPad caught your attention or if there's another iPad you'd like us to review in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, spend that money wisely.